Good morning, everybody. I have, just some random bits of tangled mess that I'm going to just try to sort out on some cards, and what doesn't really sort out and put on cards that's loose like this, I'm just going to put in my little uh, ends kind of thing. What did K3N and Mary call this? Your orts. So that's what I was going to do this morning, is kind of sort out and separate the DMC floss out, because I have designated DMC, boxes, and they're all in here by number. And I am wanting to get back into cross stitch, and I'm thinking it's something I could work on while my house is torn apart. And for anybody that doesn't know, I have dry rot in my house, and I've got to shift a whole bunch of stuff in my house, and they're going to rip the floor up down the entire center of the house and redo the subfloor from up top. So they're going to rip up flooring, everything. And my main concern is keeping the cats happy. Isn't that ridiculous? They're going to be confined to the back room where I showed you the storage of fabric and yarn I have. I'm going to come down a little bit. And they're going to be stuck in there. And then overnight, I don't know how well we're going to get sleep, because they're used to prowling the entire house. But we'll see how it goes. I need to not worry about it. It'll be what it'll be. But I'm going to wind this on real quick. And while I'm doing this, I want to tell you guys about a channel that I just found. And I put a link to it below. I believe it's called Hand Stitch with Carol. And it's not Carol McDonald. It's a different Carol. And she's a delight to watch. She's creating squares. And then she says she's going to turn them into a box. So that's what I was doing. Oh, and I'm not numbering this because I don't know the number of the loose threads. I'm just putting them on cards. So they'll go in this is a box I have that's just for thrifted floss. Some of it's DMC, some of it's JP Coats, but it's just to do some random slow stitching. So this is the slow stitching box. And all those other boxes I showed at the beginning, those are for actual cross stitch, because they're in there by number. So I could do some cross stitch charts with that. And I'm thinking I'd like to do some, like I was saying earlier in the autumn here, I want to do some more small items that can be added to slow stitch projects. So I want to create a box of small cross stitch things that can be added to our slow stitch projects that we do together. I want to combine the two loves, cross stitch and slow stitch. And I never find the cool embroidery like Kate in the Nest finds down in Australia. She finds all these beautiful tablecloths and everything. And I don't find that kind of stuff so very often, not like she does. So I said, well, I could make my own that way. Let's see if we can find another piece that can be wrapped on a card and used. This yellow looks like there's quite a bit of it. And it's got its tag, its DMC tag. But I'm going to go ahead and just put it on a plain card. Good morning, Cynthia. You just finished watching yesterday's video? Awesome. I was just watching this new girl I just stumbled across. Her name's Carol, Hand Stitch by Carol, or with Carol. The link's in the description box. And she's a lot of fun to watch. And she's doing basically collage in her slow stitch. So when she's couching a flower out, boy, we got some weird lighting once I turn that on. Maybe I should turn that back off. That's a little better, actually. It's a little, I don't know. It's a weird time of the morning. There's no sunlight yet. And Yeah. Oh, don't you just love those I love hand-thrown pieces, and I hate to see them, cast aside. That was probably given to somebody that didn't appreciate pottery, because I can't imagine somebody that loved pottery sending that. I mean, hand-thrown pottery is expensive, and to get something like that for $2, it's a win-win for me. Oh, that's lovely. I didn't have a yellow in my slow stitch box, so that'll be great. There's a bit of red here. And I've got more cards somewhere. And I'm sorry, I still have a cold. So I may sound a little froggy. I need to take this DMC number off because I don't know what the number is of this. And I'm reusing the cards. I bought all those cards at the thrift store the other day. I need to get one of those out of the DMC cases. So what are you up to today, Cynthia? Today is my housework day, and we've got our stitch hour today at 2. And I started the laundry last night, so it's nearly done, except I got to change the sheets and do the linens on the bed. Because tomorrow is trash day. I'm going to get another card for that. I'll just get a little stack of cards. Now, these do say DMC on them, but some of this thread is not DMC. Howard's climbing in the dog crate. I was thinking of driving to the voter registration office, because you can vote at voters registration and vote early, so you don't have to stand in a line. But last few times I've gone to vote, though, there hasn't really been a line, but there may be this year. Who knows? I don't know. And young people don't vote very much. They're disenchanted with the system, I guess. But I'm going to get my vote cast. I may wait, or we may go. I think we can go on Saturdays. So we may go next Saturday and get our vote in. I have to keep stopping and take a sip of my coffee, although the coffee's not really setting well this morning. That's one thing about the Ozempic. The coffee acid really, it's kind of... Oh, you don't drive? Okay, yeah, that makes sense for you. My mother-in-law, I keep telling her, if you pull up at the voting location, if she just pulls up where it says in-car voting, they'll bring that machine out so she could vote in the car, because she's 97 and she can't get around. And for her to have to stand in line, that's why she doesn't vote, is she doesn't want to stand in line. It's just too much. Her spine is just not good enough to stand, for a long time. So, but I offered to take her and, get the wheelchair from the little house and just wheel her in there. But oh, you never heard of drive up voting? Yeah, they have portable voting machine for the senior citizens that can't get around, and there'll be a slot at the voter station where it says in-car voting, and they bring that out and they set it up for you so you can it just sits in your lap, I guess. I think this is why this got cast aside, because this is quite the knot, and I am not even in shot. That actually improved the lighting. Hi, Heather. Good morning. So I'm a week ahead with Shannon, Art Junkies members only project. So I can focus on moving things around here. I figure if I move one or two things, every other day, I can have things shifted out the way. So this is quite the mess. Let's see. What else can we talk about? Greg went to the state fair with his girlfriend. He just came in from staying at her place, getting his shower so he can go to work. Scott's already left for work. And, yeah. Howard's been an imp, so Tippy's on the end of the table over here, and Callie's on the window box on the other side of me, so that they don't get harassed by their brother. I did not want to wake up this morning. I took nighttime cold medicine, and it's always so hard to wake. I'm on the verge of just cutting this. Let's just cut it. And we'll put the knot in what they call the Ort box. How about that? We'll just put that knotted business in there. And it'll become a stitch project in the flat with netting over it or something like Barb Owen does. Of course, it's not Barb Owen anymore, is it? I wonder if she'll keep her channel Barb Owen. Because I believe she got married. Hi, Safia. Yeah, I'm probably not going to stay on a terrible long time, but I wanted to come on and kind of sort through this mess right here. I don't normally do this. I hate big old messes of thread, and I noticed a lot of the slow stitchers, they just have their thread in one big pile, and that just sets I want to be organized. It sets me off in my head to see that. And it's like, oh my God, I would like scream if I had to dig for a thread every time. But what works for me doesn't work for you. That's fine. That's fine. If we were all the same, the world would be a boring ass place. Sorry. But, I think there's some more of this in here. Maybe not. But I thought that looked like the same. But it's not. It's more of an orangey thing. And that's more of that blue I just wound on. Can I find it now? That's pretty close. I'm going to wind it on this card. Oh, hi, Joyce. Safia homeschools her kids. Now, see, I can tell now that that's on there. That does not go there. Hang on. Back up. I think that was this one. Nope, that's more blue. Is it this one? Nope. Well, I guess that is a different blue. And this is pearl cotton. And I made this little dish and I found it, and I'm just going to ball my pearl cotton like that because I don't necessarily need to know its number. And I'm trying to save my little cards for my DMC floss as much as possible. So we'll just wind this a little bit so it doesn't become a tangled thing. So she says she's got one adding shopping and the other is learning about solutions, solvents, and solutes. So put that in my little dish here. That little dish probably is not going to be big enough for everything I need to put in there. I might just take one card and roll like things together. That's more white. I can put that on the white card. Pretty sure it's white. Let's see. Yeah. And that one's not really big enough to stitch with. I'm bad. I like a big old long string to stitch with, and I know you're not supposed to do that, but whatever. I might make one card a random little, that's too small. Random bits. I don't like real short lengths. I don't feel like you get use enough of the thread. But you can couch it down under other things. So that. I'll just put all this stuff in here. Let's see. I'm cheating and adding a bunch of it just to the Orts jar because I'm being lazy. All right, I'm going to wrap this brown on here. Ooh, you can hear my dry skin. That's pretty bad. Let's see, what else do we have that's kind of brown? This piece right here. I didn't realize I had this glob of just sections of different colors till I came across this. And then I was like, I gotta get that under control. Oh. Have a good day, Greg.
I'm trying to. Just want to crawl back into bed.
Oh, I understand that. I took cold medicine last night, and so my head's already, it's still sleeping. It's going, go back to bed. I got too much to do, though. Too much to do. And then poor Scott didn't realize the department head had not printed off all of the papers he needed for his 8 students for tonight. So we were up late listening to the printer go because he had to print a copy. Heather said bye, Greg. Her daughter's getting ready to go to school, so so he was up printing multiple pages for each student. He had to print the paper pack for the class, and usually it's done for him and he just picks them up, but this time no such thing, so he had to print that. So we were up late listening to him do that because I couldn't sleep with the printer going and going. And I felt so bad for him. And then he decided to clean his desk off and the shredder kept going and going and going. So I was like, well, you're doomed. You might as well just stay awake. So yeah. And I'm just winding these. It's like brain surgery, right? Me winding these around. And I know Deb Farrell said, oh, you need a winder. I actually have one somewhere. I'm not sure where. And I told Scott, I said, this is a tragedy for us to have to do all this big major repair on the house. But in a way, it's kind of good because it's making us look at our stuff and it's making us purge things that, we have, but we haven't touched in years. And it's just taking up space in our lives that could be better utilized. So I took a bunch of fabric and donated it yesterday. And he's got a bag of books ready to go. So it's just a matter of getting it to I'm going to put this floss on here too. I'm going to shove this one down on the board and I'm going to put this one on here. And then I thought I would just separate pearl cottons from DMC floss and chit chat with you guys. So this is not going to be anything, craft along with me or anything. It's just a chit chat and sit with me while I sort this stuff because I need to do it and y'all are here. I think that's the same color, but not 100% sure.
Love you, Mama.
Love you too, honey. You got all your supplies?
Yeah, I think I got everything.
All right. Have a good one. Drive safe. Love you.
Love you.
Bye. Every time he leaves, I think he's still 16 and going for his first drive. Oh, well. He's a grown man. He's 38, so he can do it. He's still my baby, though. Always will be. I am proud of him for maturing up a bit. So this has got 840 and there's brown thread in there. But some of this I bought and somebody snipped both ends of the DMC floss. So they're like little 6-inch sections of thread. And for me, that's useless. I can't stand to work with something so crazy. No, pearl cotton does not. I don't think it's 2 strands twisted together. So there are 2, but they're twisted tight together. So they don't divide. I think pearl cotton is used, I could be wrong, but I think it's used more for like crewel work and between it and regular yarn. So I'm not going to sit and roll up a bunch of stuff. I want to just make sure this bag is all pearl cotton and make sure I've separated all of it. So I'm just going to pull this out. I got a bunch of this. This is DMC pearl cotton for $1 at Joann's in fiscal week 19 of 07, because that's when I worked there. So I got these and these. Look how autumnal they are. I might leave those in their packages for right now. But this was going to be a pearl cotton. So that's what these are. Sorry. And I could make a pearl cotton box of the DMCs. I might do that because these are all DMC flosses. And then just wrap the ones without their numbers attached for my slow stitch box. That's what I'll do. So I'll need to get another box that's just for pearl cotton. So if the number's still attached, there's another little ball for the little yellow basket. This one's still got its numbers. And I'll separate the DMC from the other. There's another little ball of it. That could really just go on my slow stitch cart. That's what I'll do with the ones that are in balls. Now these are pearl cottons, but they are a prism. And I got those, I think, at Wally World. So I'll get another one for the no names and the loose stuff. And then I'll decide whether I want to put it on cards and create and add it to my slow stitch box here or not. Because I do have See, I have all of this that needs to be wound into just into balls or onto cards or something. Yeah, that's a pearl cotton. Those are all pearl cotton. I just don't want a big mass of mess like this. It just drives my brain sideways. See, that doesn't excite me. It gives me paralysis. Anyway, I'm just like, oh, I ain't touching that with a 10-foot pole. So these will be my DMC pearl cottons that I'll put in my pearl cotton. I'll create a pearl cotton for DMC. And this has a number. And I know some of these golds that I have are no longer available. So they're like treasures. So if they're DMC floss and they've got their numbers attached, I'm going to keep them that way. So I need a bag that's for those. And these are DMC that just got pulled out of the big box and never put back. So those need to just go back in the box. So I need another bag for DMC. This I got thrifting. Oh, look, more boards. So I'm going to put the DMC with numbers in here. Let's see here. And this actually has the little number sheet, so you can just peel the stickers off and stick them on there instead of having to write them. All right, so that still has its numbers. Oh, that's got a number on it. That just needs to be added to the boxes. And when I add colors, I have to shift in the boxes. These are DMCs. I have this huge chart I want to do, and it's of Mother Earth in nature with all these beautiful flowers and it's flora and fauna all around her. And I want to do that up. What is this stuff? This says Madeira floss. So I'll put that in that other bag with the generic. And then there's a Stuff of Nightmares pile of thread. And I think I have a bag where I went and I bought all the floss I needed for that chart that I thought I didn't have, and I bet I do have it. So, honey, he's already left. I'll let you back out in the bonus room. Hang on. You missed saying bye to Greg, buddy. Bossy man in the house. Piper, do you want to come in? You do? Okay. You gonna go to the back and get water? Okay. There went the pudgy girl. She's going to the back. She's probably glaring at me like, how dare you call me pudgy? She is as wide as she is long. All right. These all are DMC with their numbers still attached. So I can put them in my boxes. So I got to wind all that. Looks like I need to spend some time. Yeah. Let's see. Use it in mixed media. Oh, the piles of thread. Is that what you're talking about, Joyce? That would be good. I'm putting on my Christmas list one of those lamps that's, the lamp is a circle lamp and it's got a magnifier in the middle. I'm going to put that on my I really want Christmas list. I'm going to put that Madeira floss in there. It says it's a substitute for DMC color. Right. Then I have, this is one of those embroidery floss kits. This is Loops and Threads. I must have picked this up at Michael's because that Loops and Threads, Michael's brand. So that'll just go in here to be put into my mixed box. Here's some more pearl cotton that's still in the packages. So I think I will create a pearl cotton box So that'll be something I need to get a box for. Then this, I got at the thrift store just like this. And I thought it was going to include this little sampler, but I didn't see that in here. But this is Simply Shaker Sampler Threads, Color Fast, the Gentle Art. And I'm going to use this in my mixed strings. Since I don't have the chart, I'll just put this in to go into my slow stitch. And this looks like it's been cut into lengths. I don't really care for that, but it is what it is. So I'm just going to add this with the no name, stuff. I'll throw that plastic bag away. So I have all of these DMCs here to wrap and put in my mixed thing. And these will go in my mixed thing. These I'll add to my boxes. So I might just put these back in here because this is all DMC floss. And something else I found, I don't know what I did with the flute like thing I picked up in St. Thomas, but these came from St. Thomas. These tiny little sand dollars. When we went to St. Thomas, my Aunt Janie and I, she's passed on, but she won a trip to St. Thomas, Puerto Rico, and Nassau in the Bahamas, and we did a cruise down there, and we had a big time. So that's what I have there. This looks like it's a small little piece. That one I can use. That piece is too small. And yeah, we have one of those lamps out at the scroll saw out in the garage. But I think if I snitched it, that's when Scott would want to use the scroll saw. So if Santa could bring me one, that would be great. So these pearl cottons I'll use in my slow stitch because they don't have their labels on. This is all non-labeled stuff. I'm just going to add that to the pile for right now. And I got that sorted out, and that was one of the main things I wanted to do here this morning. So I don't have nearly as much regular DMC to roll as I thought I did. I do want to work on my bear some because I want to start stitching it together today. If Anne has hers available, I found 2 rolls of non-roll elastic. This is great for waistbands because it won't twist. Found these. Don't know why I bought these. I have so many buttons, it's not even funny. And I've got some patterns there I need to put up. And let's see. Oh, and at Christmas last year, I was looking for small rubber bands, and I have these. So I need to put these somewhere where I can find them. And I want to show you guys, if I can remember how to do it, how to make airplanes out of 2 sticks of gum and some lifesavers to hang on your tree. They're really cute, if I can remember. I haven't made them since I was a teenager, so that tells you how long ago. So let me see if I can put these away. So I'm going to put the slow stitch stuff out of the way. I need a box. I need to remind myself I need a box to put the DMC pearl cotton on. Just got to shift some things because I have these boxes. There's 4 of them, and I have them by number. There. So I think the 300s are in this box far over here. Heather, no, we have not finished the bag. I got sidetracked with the bear. I told Anne as soon as we get this bear together, I'm going to get back on the back on our bag. I have not finished it. No. I am horrible about getting sidetracked. So if you work along with me, be prepared to be side railed. But I do get back to it. All right. So this one says 8. This was the one 335. 334, 335. I'm gonna have to shift one because it's in here too tight. 504 is here. I already have a 504 in there, but that's okay. Then 677. 677. There. 814. 814 will go in here too. That's a second 814. And then 3770 is probably going to be in the last box. 3770. Right there. So that gives me 2 of those. All right. That takes care of those. Then what was I going to do? What was I going to do? I don't know. I guess I could pull the bear out for a little bit. And I'm working on the arms. So this is what I have going on right now. So that's an outer arm. And then that's the other arm. And so if I flip these over, and this paw pad will go on this hand, and this goes on this paw here, that goes there. We need to sew those two together, the paw pad and the base, and then this would fold up and it'll match better. So that's why that's like that, because those two have to be stitched together. These are the arms. This is all I have left to do. I need to, let's see, this paw pad and this arm are done. So this needs to be stitched on. That needs to be stitched on. And I wanted to put a little bit of stitching a little bit around this. Maybe not on the butterflies. I might just leave that like that, but just do some stitching there. So if you guys don't mind, I'll just sit and do some stitching and chat with you a little bit. And I was watching how she's doing that, and she sewed the components together, and then she took the time to put the nose on. And I'm going to do that. Once I get my bear together, I'll add the eyes because I have very dimensional eyeballs. And I think I'm going to maybe do pearl cotton and give her some eyelashes and maybe some eyebrows. I don't know. I'll have to think on that some. But anyway, I have this piece of lace, and then Janice sent me some lace. And this is really, really too big. Let me get a piece of Janice's lace because I told her I wanted to add some of the lace she had sent me. That's JL for you guys. But see, she sent me these little pieces, and I thought that could be cute. But this is the inside of the arm, so you wouldn't see much of it. That's the problem. And I got to remember there'll be a 1/4 of an inch or a little less stitched right there. Let's see, what else do we have here? Just looking, seeing what I have. it's kind of awkward where I have this left. Hi, Pam. Piper's lonely. She's laying in the kitchen. Greg's been gone so much. And his girlfriend has cats too, so I don't know how that's going to pan out in the end. Piper may end up just being my kitty again. You know how it is with kids and their animals when they move out. I don't know if I might decide to add some of this, or maybe I could take these that Janice sent me and work them together and this lace and make her a little vest to wear later. I might do that. I might do that with this lace and make a little vest that she could slide on, or maybe a collar to slip on. I don't know. Well, I'll think of something. So I want to stitch on this piece real quick. And do you ever get a needle that's just your favorite? This one's got a big eye and a sharp point, which works really good for getting through all these layers of fabric. Wouldn't a vest be cute? I keep toying with the idea of a netted tutu too, but we'll see. So I'm just I don't really have to go up too far on this. I just want to stitch it down. And I'm just going to do running stitch in and out. I know Anne's ready to go. She's got her pieces all ready. I don't think I want to stitch across the butterflies because I think they look kind of cute just being there plain. And they're not going to move. Once I get the components together, I could, if I was real careful about it, I could add beads and such if I want to. But I'm about stitched out on this bear. I've really done more than I needed to on this bear. And Pam's here with her coffee and a smile. No, the bear is a project by Dale at Earndale's. And what you'd have to do if you want to make the bear is you just have to contact her. I'll put a link to her playlist on the bear, and she'll send you the pattern for you to use for free. There's 2 sizes. I'm doing the larger bear, and I think Anne's doing the smaller bear. Mine is going to be 18 inches tall, and I think Anne's is 12. So Anne may have a little bit more trouble doing the nose and such because all her openings will be smaller than mine. But it's doable. It may be a little frustrating, but she'll get it. I will be so glad to be over this bug that I have. I'm hoping didn't make anybody sick that I was around, but I feel like I wasn't contagious anymore. I just in the yuck stage of it. But we'll see. I wasn't feeling like I was running a fever, so I didn't feel like I was contagious. And I just shoved that needle right under my fingernail. That felt great. Great, great, great. Well, I can tell the day has officially started because the roar from I-77 is loud enough that I can hear it here. We live where I-77 and I-26 cross in the KC Columbia area. So in the mornings, it can get rather loud between the 2 highways converging with the truckers getting back on the road from the weekend. And earlier you hear the train taking off. It's bad when the train runs late because then the kids have trouble getting into the school because if they come in from that direction, the school bus would have to turn around and go back out if it was too late in the morning. because the railroad thing will come down and block them. Keep them from getting in the way of the train. But we listen to that whistle, and we know if we hear that whistle, we're running late. Yeah, and Dale's a sweet lady. She does stitching, and she knits, and she gardens, and she's in Canada. Um, I'll have to remember to put a link to her playlist for the bear. And she has kind of sewn the components together, the individual components so far. And then the last video she did is she added the nose and was telling, depending on which way you sew the nose, you'll get a different personality. And do you want your mouth to, curve up or down? You can give your bear a lot of character by just how you are stitching things on. And like I said, I think I want to give my bear eyelashes, because the eyes I have were sent to me by Amelia Ayrton in South Africa, and they're kind of unique. They're like a button with a shank, but the shank is like a coiled piece of steel, I guess, or wire, and it's just coiled around. So I guess you just sew those on. So this would definitely not be a bear for a child, but it's a glass eye. It's got a pupil that you can't hardly see it on here because it's reflecting. But I think giving her some eyelashes would be really cute. Hi, Teresa. Good morning. Oh, and there goes the flight starting off for Atlanta and Charlotte. Getting an early start on the day. We hear planes, trains, and automobiles every day. Every day. There we go. That just gives it a little bit more character, and then I'll leave the butterflies. So that is done. Oh, and I found these scissors when I was cleaning up too, and they're nice and sharp. I say, and then they won't cut. All right, so now that will go here. And I did handwrite with pencil and then stitched over my pencil lines with a navy blue on all of the sayings I have on her body. And I think everybody's bear is going to be slightly different because Anne's fabric was so involved. She just did basic stitching. And of course, my fabric has a lot on it, but then Becky can't stop. I can't stop myself. And I just added flower gardens everywhere on my bear. And, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. And I think I will sew mine together by hand. And I think I'll probably just use a kind of a blue, in this range, blue thread everywhere, because most of the fabric has some of this kind of turquoisey blue. So now we need to do some stitching on here. I think I'll do some fly stitching just all over this. Let's see. Let's do it in some greens. I've got, this would show up good on it. And I don't have a pocket for the little dolly that I found. So I don't know if I'll add the little dolly or not. That's not going to get us a very good start. But when you're doing the fly stitch, you have to think in reverse. It's not growing up, it's coming down. So I do mine top down, but I turn my piece so it's upside down. I'll show you what I mean. Oops. So I'm going to work from this curved section down, but when I'm working on it, I turn the piece this way. Ow! Angie, you showed up just in time to watch me stab myself with a pin or a needle. I do like this needle, though. It is sharp. And it's got that nice big eye. And yes, I'm tying knots, and I know you're not supposed to. So I'm going to start up here somewhere. And then I just take my thread and I come over to the side of it and then go halfway between those two, down a ways. And when you come up, you catch the stitch. But don't pull it really tight. Just pull it taut. And then you pick which direction you want to go. And I always make my tail move back and forth so that it... Howard's beating his reflection up in the glass, you guys, in the front. He's such a weirdo. Anyway, he thinks there's another cat on the windowsill. Sometimes there is a cat on the windowsill, but mostly it's Howard's reflection. Oh, that wasn't Howard. It was Piper. Oh, Piper. Language. She's in a mood because Greg stayed gone all weekend. Saturday, he hung out with his friend Mary, and then Sunday, he hung out with his girlfriend Rachel. And so the cat has had very little time with her boy. And so she's mad at the world, hissing and carrying on. And I'm going to do several shades of green on here in just this stitch to kind of hold this in place. And you can tell I work it back and forth and back and forth. Sometimes I work like this. Sometimes I turn it upside down. Uh-oh. I think I'll do one more and take it to the back. I said I was going to come back on over at Mary's last night, and then I got to looking at Facebook and stuff, and I never made it back over to Mary's because I was trying to catch up on everything I missed over the weekend with all the gallivanting, as my grandmother would call it, that we did between going to my sister's cookout and having to cook for that. And then, I felt so bad. I forgot to put sugar in the pie yesterday. And my mother-in-law was like, this ain't sweet enough. Well, it doesn't have any sugar in it. That's probably why it's not sweet enough for you. But I thought it was okay. Uh-oh. Well, razzle dazzle. Now I've made a knot. Let's see if I can pull a single strand. When in doubt, go back to a single strand. That's what they tell you to do anyway. Pull a single strand. It works better. But you know what? I think I got both strands loose. Woohoo! Yes, Piper, I'm coming. Quit stomping with your nails out. I'm coming. Yeah, I know you're ready. Yeah. Ready to go back out? Yeah? Okay. Well, I have no control over Greg. He's grown. That cat has such an attitude. Man. Uh-oh. It's kind of early to be calling, isn't it? Whew. I don't like to talk on the phone. I am not a phone talker. And it drives my mother-in-law crazy because she loves to talk on the phone. I don't like to talk on the phone. I think it goes back to on the farm. We were on a party line still in the 70s. We were on a party line. And I was always told, keep the line clear, keep the line clear. Our neighbor may need an important call. So, and then I wasn't allowed to be on the phone. My grandmother would say, you'll see them at school. You don't need to be on the phone. So I just really don't like to talk on the phone because I guess I just never got used to talking on the phone. It really wasn't allowed. Yeah, my mother-in-law, though, she loves to talk and chat on the phone. I feel you're lucky if I answer. And Scott's phone rings with those crazy phone calls all the time. I said, I don't get those because I rarely answer the phone, especially if it's somebody I don't know. So I just don't get very many of those calls on my number, which is good. Because they wouldn't be answered anyway. And here I am pulling it where you guys can't see what I'm doing. I just love how this looks. You'll see it all over this bear. Fly stitches. I'm just going to do the inside of this arm all in fly stitches in different shades of green, I think. It reminds me of seaweed or a vine going up or something like that. Oh, you worked at a phone center. I'm sorry, Heather. Oh, I just don't like phones. Text me and come visit. That's better. You know? I'm almost tempted to go lay back down for a little while. Let the cold medicine wear off. But I've got so much I got to get done. I'm hoping that guy will email us a diagram of the areas they need 100% clear. I emailed and told him, I said, we're old. We have to do this in little bits. We're not old, but we're old enough to where it hurts if we try to do too much in one day. So I would rather work slowly at it. And then when it's done, I can slowly put it back together. And, I hear those ladies, oh, I don't want to waste the cotton. And all I can think is it's 25 cents a skein. I'm not going to worry about wasting a little bit of cotton. It'll go into a different project. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I can just imagine. I'm going to pick up where I left off on this one over here and come up inside it like so. So it looks like it's continuing on. And I don't know if Dale ever started a Facebook group. She was talking about starting a Facebook group where everybody could share their bears, but I don't think she did. Ouch. All right. I'm going to attach this to this other one so it looks like it's a branch off the same. So I'll just go down through that hole there. Uh-oh. Now I've got to... If you pull too hard, that's when you make your stitches go all sideways. And I think I'll come over here. No. I'm trying to decide where I want to pick this back up. I'll come down here. That little floral trim that I've been cutting into individual flowers has really come in handy for this as well. So I'm probably going to stay working on this for a while. Oh, see, that never would have been allowed. I couldn't do that. And our phone was rotary dial, you know, then let it go back. And then the next number. Man, if the kids had to do that today, they'd never call anybody. It's not fast enough. Dialing up on a rotary phone. I'm just going to take this back down behind because the rest of that will probably be caught in that seam where you put the paw pad on to the back. So if you've got your bear all stitched, Dale does have a video on putting the bear together up there as far as getting your, the inner arms sewn to the outer arms. And she shows how to do the bear's legs and adding the bottom of the foot on there, the bottom of the paw, and sew the head together. She's got all that on there. She did kind of abbreviate the instructions though. So you just have to listen to her words, and because she didn't do a lot of sewing in front of the camera. She went off and said, I'm gonna sew this here. And then she did comment that it may be much easier for everybody if you just sew it by hand, because there are a lot of really tight little spaces to do, and on a machine that's hard. But if you did want to try it on your machine, what you have to do is you have to decrease your stitch length. Instead of being like at a 2 or a 3, like if you're garment sewing, you go down to like a 1, 1.5, and you sew slower. And that way, as you're sewing, you can kind of just make it turn a little bit like that and get around these curves. But I'm going to sew mine together by hand, just with a needle and thread. So I'm going to start working on my bear today during our stitch hour for today. I want to finish my hat that I'm knitting, but just kind of gotten sidetracked because I've got to learn what SSK is, and I can't remember the other term. I got to look up how to do decreases in knitting because I have no clue. Decreasing in crochet is so much easier. And then the knitters are like, I can't understand crochet. It's all in what you get used to. All right, I'm going to take that to the back. And I think I'm going to get a different green out. And I'm going to do some different stitching on the other inner arm. Can't have her all matchy-matchy. I'm not going to run that in. I'm just going to stitch it there. So I'm going to put this green back and we'll get this one out. Well, my family doesn't call me. And Scott's family calls when they need something. I think that's more than anything anymore. People call you only when they need you. And then they don't answer when you need to talk to somebody. So that's why I don't call anybody. Because I don't want to be a bother to anybody. Everybody's got busy lives. It's okay. I'm used to being on my own most of the time. Yours is on silent. That's a way to deal with it. Just put it on silent and then you don't have to listen to it. I'm going to start this one over here on the dark blue because this is a little bit lighter green. A lot of this section of this arm, this is where it attaches to the body here. A lot of this you're not going to see anyway, so I'm not real concerned about getting right to the seam edge because you're not going to see any of the stitching. So why put all that effort and materials into something you're not going to see? Because these are the inner arms. And I used to watch Life Goes North, and I saw on Instagram that Mindy had posted that they've now, I guess they've left Alaska and are now in Washington State. I don't know what's happened or what, but I went to look at her YouTube to see if she'd done a video because somehow I got unsubbed from her, and she's taken down her YouTube channel. It says this channel has no content. And I was like, oh, how sad to take it down, because you build your channel up. I just can't imagine taking it down to start from scratch because people revert back to your videos. So I don't know. Of course, I guess if your channel becomes inactive, YouTube takes you down anyway, but I would rather just let them do it, than to take it down and basically start over. I just can't fathom them starting over. I've got interesting stuff. And I do think about going through and cleaning mine up, but I don't think about taking it down entirely. Like maybe just get down to where it's just tutorial type stuff, but I've got nearly 3,000 videos up, so I just don't want to deal with it. I'd rather make the videos and just move on to the next project than to worry about editing my content from the past. It's like paperwork. Nobody wants to do that stuff. Not if they're a creator. I think that's why I don't sell stuff, because I don't want to do the paperwork. I might sell 1 or 2 items here and there, but I don't want to make it a business. I think a barter system is more fun because then everybody gets something out of it. You know, that could be a fun thing to do, is have a barter session where we just get together and swap out handmade goods. And then that way everybody gets something a little different to give as gifts, because everybody makes different things. But then you have to come up with a way to make it, I don't know. You just have to be okay with maybe the amount of work that they've done is less than the amount of work that you've done, and you just have to settle with that when you do barter. I don't know how you'd work that out to do a barter. It's an idea. Oh, cool. I came across the little pot holder loom when I was cleaning up in the back, and I've bought a bunch of wool, the little loopers. I got a bunch of the wool loops at thrift stores. So I want to make some pot holders. Let's start this in the middle of the screen. Well, when I want to focus on working on something, I do put something on like Midsummer Murders, or I jump on to Greg's Netflix account and I watch something over there on Netflix. What was that I just watched? It had Anthony Hopkins in it. It was kind of a creepy, but Sir Anthony Hopkins. It's always got a little bit of creep in it. But he's such a good actor. I just love anything with Anthony Hopkins. I can't handle the really scary stuff like Silence of the Lambs. That was the last really scary thing I watched. That's how long ago it was. I don't like scary movies too much. This one was more thriller, and intense. It wasn't real bloody and gory. There was some blood and gore in it, but it wasn't like Silence of the Lambs or any of that. So I wish I could remember the name of that. You have a sock loom but can't use it. Never made a pair of socks. Well, socks is another small project that I feel I'm going to set the sock yarn aside in a basket of its own with the needles I need to make the socks. And that's something I can work on while the house is in destruction, and trying to find positive things to do. I'm probably going to end up just sitting in my bedroom all day while they work. Sit in Greg's bedroom with his cats, because I'm going to move his TV and couch into his bedroom since he sleeps in the bonus room with his cats. But his cats are going to have to go in his bedroom while they're working so they don't get, in the house, under the house, or out the door while they're going in and out. So if I confine his 2 cats to his room and our 2 cats to our back bedroom where they don't have to do any demolition, I'm hoping to keep everybody safe and happy, and I'll have to make sure I do all the, litter box change outs and all of that before the guys get here each day. They said they'd put a lock box on the house so they could just let themselves in when they needed to be here. And I was just like, I'll just be here. That way we don't have to worry about any of that. What are we having done? Well, down the entire center of our house, there's a wall that goes. It's the load-bearing wall of the whole house. And there's a fireplace here in this room that's technically the den, But on both sides of that wall where the HVAC duct runs along, when we weren't living here, our son kept the house at like 60 degrees, which created a very damp area, which in turn created dry rot in the wood. So all of our subflooring and some of the joist and some of the sill plate are so damaged they have to be replaced. So they're going to come in, they're going to rip the floors all up, and then they have to set up temporary supports in areas, and they have to replace the joists and the sill plate. And there's going to be brickwork done. There's a section where when the house this house was built in 1960, and they didn't put there's not enough piers under the house to support the weight of this house. So they got to put in 2 additional piers plus the temporary ones, which are laid brick up under there. When they get done with all of that, they'll remove all the debris that's up under the house, and they're going to put down a vapor barrier across the ground. It'll be a I don't know, some kind of, I guess, polyamide or something across the bottom. And then they're going to install a dehumidifier to go under the house. And before they do all of that, they're going to seal all the vents, the little vent windows. Those are all going to get sealed up and closed off. And then they'll put that dehumidifier under there. And so it'll be an enclosed, really kind of super insulated under the house. And it's a lot of money. And Scott's getting it out of some of his retirement that he was kind of basically forced to take, and it kind of is happening at the perfect time because we have to do this huge repair to the house. And Scott still wants to retire out of South Carolina. So I don't know. We'll see. And really the only reason we're still here is his mom. So that's what we're having done. I sent the guy an email and I said, can you give me an estimate? Is this going to be weeks or months? How long's the repair going to take? And I told him, I said, if you take the diagram sketch that he kind of did of the house, and I said, highlight the areas where I'm going to have things 100% moved and that kind of thing. So we're hoping we can just shift things around within the house. We're doing a purge as we go to make more room. And when this first was announced to us, it really sent me over the edge because I'm going to have to live with the floor open for several days, I'm sure, maybe even a week. So I've got to maintain the cats in spaces that they're not used to being confined to. Because in the contract, they said they're not responsible if the animals get out. So the cats are not going to be happy. But my cats, I can lock this door with a key that goes out to the catio. So the men cannot go out that door. I'll just lock it. And then I can just crack the door in the bedroom and they can come out on the porch and go back in the bedroom, come out on the porch, come back in the bedroom. I don't really like that idea, especially with it being in December, but it is an option where they could spend part of their day outside and then part of it in that bedroom. But it's going to be quite the upheaval to have my house in that state. But you guys know I'm kind of used to living in process. When I was growing up, my it's a long story, but my uncle built a smaller house for my grandma and I. And we basically lived in the kitchen area and the living room. Our bedrooms were in the living room. So we lived in 2 rooms and we had a chamber pot. So I am used to living rough, which is, anybody can do it if they have to. It's not nice or anything. But then I've got this bathroom project that Scott, bless him, he's trying to get it finished up and he's doing a good job, but he is so tired on the weekends. I hate to ask him to do anything when he's working a day job and a night job. So it's getting there. We are so close. And the floor tiling should take a lot less time because it's 12 by 12 tiles. And they're I don't know what, mosaic tile. So they're on a grid. So you just lay them down into the mortar. So that should go a lot faster than the subway tiles. Yeah, I have to look toward, oh, this is going to be great. The only thing is the price that we were given does not include replacing the flooring, like the hardwoods or the linoleum or this flooring in here. What's kind of worked out as a blessing is we laid this floor in here. It's just a pop and click, water resistant fake wood flooring, and we actually have more of it. So if some of this gets damaged, we're good. We're golden. We don't have to buy that anymore. And we found that if we go to, what's that place called? Floors and More or something like that, we can get the pre-finished hardwood to redo the front big room. That front big room, we measured it out. It's 13 feet by 31 feet. So it's 403 square feet of space that we have to redo in there. So, and we have the tool to do the hardwoods ourselves already. So, and the fact that it's already finished and you just put it down tickles me, because having to sand hardwood and put the finishing down and doing all that does not please me. That's what we have to do in the back in our bedroom. That's why we've been sleeping in the middle bedroom, because that floor in the back has to be redone. So like I said, I'm used to living in limbo. I don't care for it, but I'm used to it. I'm really worried if this is going to take months and months. Whoo. Hi, Mary Lou. Morning, Kim. Yeah, where do you put everything? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Where do I put all this stuff? This is our second house. We lived 11 years in our first house together. Before that, when we were just living together, or as they say here, shacking up, we lived in an apartment and a mobile home. So we moved twice there, and then we lived in that little house for 11 years, and we've been here since. So over 20 something years we've been in this house. So between moving what we had when we were at the little house and then everything we've accumulated in 40 years, yeah, it gets a little overwhelming. And we were at the thrift store and I found some things. I found a couple patterns and that kind of thing. But I said, I think about what I already have at the house. I don't need another thing. And I just spent all that time, and we went to a Goodwill that's nowhere near where we live. So I won't have to look at that fabric that I just donated again. And it was fabrics that I've determined I suck at sewing. And that is anything sheer or slippery or real stretchy knits. No. So I took a bunch of that. Oh, and upholstery fabric that was kind of remnants from projects I've already done. So that was a lot of stuff. I think there was like 7 bags of fabric and some t-shirts that Scott doesn't fit anymore because he's lost so much weight. His family was going on and on about how skinny he's gotten. And we went and we bought all these size 34 pants or 36, and they're falling off his butt. And I told him, I said, it's because you ain't got no butt at all. That's why they're falling off. You go shack up with yourself. It's so much easier. You don't have to have meals prepared or anything, but I wouldn't trade Scott for anything, you guys. Yeah, it is really hard to believe. And then why are you holding on to it? I mean, and I told Scott, I said, we need to keep the stuff that we really have a connection to. Like there's some things of my great grandmother's that I won't get rid of because they're irreplaceable. There's a spice cabinet that my great grandfather made for my great grandmother, that my grandmother had. And I asked her if I could please have that. And she let me have it years ago. She's been gone since 1992. So she's been gone. But she's the lady that raised me. So she was my mom. Yep, he walked by wasting away last night. Yeah. I really hate it that men can lose weight so much easier than women, but it is what it is. You're a good purger. I'm better at it than the guys. My two guys. Greg is horrible at it. That's what I told him. I told him at the beginning of this. I said, now, Greg, you're going to have to help me because you need to purge some of your stuff. But I want it for my kids. Or I was like, you don't have kids. You don't have kids, son. And you don't want to drag all this into a relationship. And so I told Scott, I said, if he doesn't start staying home on a weekend or two to help me, he's going to find stuff gone because I'm going to be a mean mom. Just saying, I'm going to be mean about it. See, now that's enough stitching that would hold everything in place. But, that's not enough for me. I do have these little flowers. I have a couple of these. Could almost put those on as a dimensional thing, but I think I only have 2. Oh, but I did come across this. We might use this. I found this. It's a little applique. I might put a bug on her arm. Oh, I threw the little dolly on the floor. I was going to make a little pocket for this little dolly on her arm, but now I don't want to cover up the flowers. So I don't know. Do I want to put the little beetle on here? Looks kind of cute. It'd be kind of like an I Spy bear. And I also have, there's that other white flower. I have these. But I got to keep in mind, this is the inside arm, so these aren't going to be, oh, look, she could wear a heart on her sleeve. Could put a heart on there. But there's these little guys, too. And I got to keep in mind the seam allowances because there's a seam that goes here and then the seam that puts the arms together there. And that's the last of those that I have. I might put those little red flowers on there. I'll save the beetle. We might put that somewhere else. But then again, this is the inside of the arm. So this part of this is going to be up against the teddy bear. I think I'm going to stop with that right there. And I might add something more later. But I've got this one I need to stitch. And this one I'm just going to do running stitches on real quick. So this will get attached to this one here. And that'll fit on there like so, something like that. Put these right sides together, stitch a 1/4 inch, and then fold this down. And I think what we really need to do is after we stitch across, need to fold the seam flat and give it a good press so you don't have a huge seam to stitch over. I think that's the best way to cope with that. Oh, there goes emergency crew. Somebody's wrecked already. Can hear the sirens. So that one's done. Let's do some running stitches on this piece. And I'm going to just use some variegated. Let's get this one out again. This has got some already wound on it. You're a sucker for vintage Christmas. I'm going to just pass on that. I don't want to deal with a short piece of thread this morning. We have from Scott's dad, he always put these, the bulbs are like that big. And if we had somewhere to hang them, I would hang them outside. But they were Christmas lights. And there used to be a personality here in the Columbia area. What was her name? Something, the Blythewood Beauty Queen. And she would say, with lights as big as your fist. Oh, I wish I had my grandmother's Christmas decorations, because they were like, some of them were from like the 1800s, but somebody bought the farm that I grew up on in upstate New York. They bought it and he's turning it into a kind of a bed and breakfast for hunters. And my mother's first ex-husband, which was not my father, he brought in dumpsters and he just took everything out of the houses, because there's the old farmhouse and then the new little house that Grandma and I lived in. And he just purged whatever was left. He threw it in dumpsters. So I don't know what happened to my baby pictures. I don't know if my cousins have them or if they just went in the dumpster or what. So it's kind of sometimes it feels like my childhood was erased because it all got thrown in a dumpster. But you know what? I don't live there anymore and I can't think like that. So it wasn't meant to be. I always thought that old farm would make a great bed and breakfast, but I would have wanted it to be like a working farm where families could come maybe and just see a small farm set up and have the sap house. They had just started dismantling it the last time I went up, because they sold all of the maple as wood. They let some timber company come in and they cut down all of the maples on the farm. And so they just decided. And when I walked out there and I saw that they were dismantling it, it just broke my heart, because Scott and I have been up there, and I told him, I said, let's go for a walk over to Uncle Ray's, because I could walk through the fields over the hill to my uncle's house. And you could walk by the sap house going that way. And I just saw that and I just was just so heartbroken. And then it was like, there's no reason for me to come back here anymore, really. But I told him, I said, I might be up for one more trip, for one more class reunion. So we might take a road trip up there. And he said he wouldn't mind going up to Maine, because he loved Maine. So maybe one day we'll do that. Need to do it sooner than later. We're getting older all the time. And we're just not big traveling people. It's not that we don't want to. It's just, we just aren't. We're kind of homebodies, and quiet and big group activities gives us both anxiety, and this weekend was exhausting. I think that's why I want to go back and lay down. What state is the property in? Where the man bought the property, that's in New York. Oh, okay, Kim. Yeah, I grew up in upstate New York. So I've been down here since 1982. So according to my in-laws, I've been down here long enough that I'm not a Yankee anymore. Yeah, I've thought about starting letters to Greg and Scott in journals and just write to them, you know, in case something happened to me, they'd have something to have my memories of them recorded and how much I love them both and that kind of thing. Kind of sappy, but thought it might be nice, especially one for Greg. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, I've pulled it too tight. Now I've got to work it loose. And it's not. There we go. Oh, I hate when I do that and pull it too tight. Okay, Becky, stop pulling on it. See if I can get this. Pull that back that way. Pull that there. Oh, I hate when I do that because then it's hard to get it back. So I was looking in my yarn stash this morning as I walked by it because we have to go back there to go to the bathroom, so. And I was thinking, ooh, a black and white sweater. I could work on a black and white sweater because I got all that black and white yarn. Or I could make an Afghan. I need to quit making Afghans because I don't have anywhere to put them and everybody's sick of my Afghans. So I need to come up with some other plan. But what is wrong with this? Here, let's do this. That's what happens when you pull it too tight. Then you got all of this. It's not laying flat now because I pulled it too tight. Oh, now I've got it too loose. Ah! Can't find a happy medium here. Well, huh. Oh, well. We're going to call that good enough. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to sign off here and get I need to get dressed. I'm still in my pajamas and I need to get the bed changed out and all the small trash cans emptied and probably should go and get some cat litter so I could change the cat boxes out. Because with this many cats, I have to change it weekly. There's no scoop and use and use and use. Not if we don't want a stinky house. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to stitch and stitch and stitch. So I'm going to leave that right there. So that will go on that arm like that. And then there's that arm. And I've already pinned a bunch of stuff. Everybody's leaving anyway, so that's okay. I've pinned the legs together because we have to sew down the fronts and backs of those. So those are pinned together. So you can't see those. And then I got the little paw pads that go on the bottom. And I got the head is there. Ears. That's the center of the head. It's one of the body pieces. And that's the other body piece. I think this is going to be my main project of the day. So I will see some of you in the stitch group later. And for now, I'm going to go and get dressed and change the linens on the bed. And I will see you guys later. Thanks for being here. Bye, guys.